Hello, my name is Shamaya Washington, and I'll be presenting Counseling Women in Multicultural Counseling using Chapter 22 of Counseling That Culturally Diverse. In recent peer-reviewed research, we will examine the significance of addressing gender, culture, and intersectionality in therapy. The discussion also highlights key elements of effective counseling for women and includes personal analysis of the author's perspectives. First, we will go into a TED Talk by Ms. Clark that discusses mental health with women.
Society tells us that we should be a lot of things as women. Society tells us that we should be pretty, but we can't be too pretty because then people will think we're superficial and they won't take us seriously. As women, society tells us that we should be the caregivers for our children and our families. But in doing so, if we don't find the time to take care of ourselves, then we are told that we are not being the best caregiver that we can possibly be. As women, we are told that it is normal to express our feelings, but the minute that we overshare, we are told that there is something wrong with us. Society tells us that we should be so many things, and that we should follow the rules that have been traditionally set in place for us. In mental health, it's no different. Society tells us it is finally okay for us to talk about our mental health, but the minute that we try and do that, we are told that we are weak, and they label us. I'm here to tell you that that is all wrong. It is okay to talk about our mental health. Our mental health should be addressed with the same level of comfort and openness as our physical health is, because everyone has mental health. Everyone in this room has mental health. But when we talk about women, we need to consider a few things. Women are more likely to live with anxiety and depression in their lifetime, and are more likely to experience violence and trauma. Now, these women that are struggling, they are not weak, but they could use our support to pick them back up. There are so many women, especially in the North, that are trying to be strong for their families and their children. These women are trying to balance careers with heavy personal lives. These women are trying to be role models for their children because they want them to be able to look up to them. When I was younger, I grew up with a single mother. My mother removed my brother and I from a situation that she did no longer think was healthy for us. And she did everything that she could to make sure that we had what we needed to succeed and grow up in a loving, positive, and healthy environment. And I know that because all her time and attention was focused on us, that she did not take care of her mental health. It pains me to know that she didn't feel like she could open up about her mental health because there was not enough time for her. It pains me to know that when I was struggling with my mental health, I didn't feel like I could open up to her because I had seen everything that she had given up for us, and I did not want her to feel like she failed as a mother because she did not. It pains me more to know that we are not the only women that did not know how to take care of their mental health because no one has taught us any different. I have seen so many strong women stand up to talk about and change how we see mental health in society. And on our own, we are strong, but we are stronger together. We need to talk about mental health so that women feel comfortable talking about it and addressing it in today's society. We need to normalize struggle because we refuse to struggle in silence any longer. Everyone in this room is capable of making that change that we need to see, because we need to address our mental health so that we can be the best mothers, the best daughters, the best spouses, and the best version of ourselves that we can possibly be. Now, change does not happen overnight. Change requires work. But that change does not have to be difficult. That change can be as easy as opening up the dialogue as to what mental health is. Or when you're asking your friend how they're doing, Really ask them and pay attention to what they have to say. Let them know that you care about them and that you are here for them. We need to do this so that every woman feels comfortable talking about that. And I know that every single one of you here today is capable of doing just that. Now, as simple as that sounds, it's really not. Because of all the stigma and shame that is around mental health still, making that conversation can be very difficult. But by starting that conversation, we are breaking down the stigma around mental health, and we are being the change that we need to see. And I want you all to leave here to understand how you can start that conversation. And there are 5 rules that I'm going to tell you about so you can do just that. 1, say what you see. Address the changes you have seen with your loved one in a straightforward and non-judgmental way. 2, show that you care. When you're addressing these changes, let them know that you care about them. That can make them feel like they are not the only one in this, and they have someone that will stand by their side. 3, hear them out. This is their opportunity to share what they are going through, but only if they want to. And if they do, you should listen to them. 4, check yourself. Understand that it is not your job to fix them, but you are just a loved one that cares. Understand that you are not their therapist, and you do not have to be their therapist. You are just someone who is being there and listening to them. And the final one, 5, connect them to help. While addressing the change that you have seen is important, connecting them to help is even more important. Now, starting that conversation can still be difficult, and there's still a lot of barriers that we have to break through. But if you follow those 5 rules, you will be off to a good start, and you will be that change that we need to see in our mental health. The one thing that I want you all to take away from this is that it is okay to talk about our mental health, and we are not weak for doing so. We are strong, and we will be stronger for addressing it and changing how society views our mental health. Let's lift one another up and allow every woman to feel comfortable talking about and taking care of her mental health. Thank you. Masi.
There's nothing like
Okay, so the video offers a compelling personal exploration of mental health among women, especially within the context of Shania Clark's lived experiences as an indigenous woman. It is powerful that she weaves personal narrative, cultural identity, and mental health advocacy. This makes her message more authentic and relatable. The way she highlights the unique pressures and stigmas women face in mental health helps viewers see beyond generic mental health discourses. Overall, the video is inspiring and informative. It serves as a strong call for counselors and mental health professionals to engage with women's mental health through culturally sensitive, intersectional lenses. It will pair well with counseling texts and the Sue text to spark reflection or discussion in a classroom. Next, we'll talk about the importance of counseling women to multicultural counseling. Counseling women is essential in multicultural counseling because gender and culture intertwine to shape identity, values, and challenges. Sue emphasizes that counselors must recognize how sexism and patriarchy intersect with race and culture to affect women's mental health. For instance, women of color often face double jeopardy. The combined effects of racism and sexism, integrating cultural humility and gender sensitivity, fosters empowerment and equality in therapeutic spaces. Recent studies, such as the one presented by Heath, affirm that intersectional approaches help counselors engage more effectively with women from diverse backgrounds. The essential elements of counseling women. Effective counseling for women integrates empowerment, connection, and advocacy. Sue highlights that counselors must validate women's experiences and challenge systematic barriers. Relational cultural theory, as explained by Jordan and Abdagun, centers on growth, fostering relationships that promote healing. Through empathy, a feminist counseling approach is vital for women experiencing gender based violence or oppression. Putri and Rolfaga found that culturally sensitive feminist counseling helps women rebuild confidence and self worth after trauma. Next, we'll discuss the agreement and disagreement with the author's presentation. So, I strongly agree with Sue um, relating to the intersectionality, which is central to understanding a woman's experiences. Their emphasis on empowerment and advocacy aligns with the current literature on feminist counseling. However, I disagree, and I believe spirituality, often a cornerstone of resilience among women from diverse cultural backgrounds, could have been explored further. Nava Benajad also notes that counseling literature often centers Western perspectives, overlooking cultural variations in women's empowerment globally. Expanding this scope would make the discussion more inclusive and globally relevant. Conclusion. In conclusion, counseling women through a multicultural framework is crucial for effective and ethical practice. It calls for empathy, self reflection, and advocacy to dismantle barriers rooted in gender and culture. Empowering women not only fosters individual growth, but also supports societal change. Integrating intersectional awareness and spiritual sensitivity ensures that counseling aligns with clients' full identities, values, and lived realities. And references. Thank you so much for tuning in.